Free Comic Book Day and Star Wars Day on the same day? That's what I call a geek holiday. Greetings, people of the internet. I'm Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. Welcome, mad creators, to the underground laboratory where we create robots, alien zombies, and other imminent threats to humanity. We also create comic books. We also read comics and collect comics and all that. We're just comic fans. Many of us, myself included, are also Star Wars fans, so you can imagine my excitement when I found out that Free Comic Book Day and Star Wars Day were going to be held on the exact same day, or fell on the same day this year. So I was just so excited to celebrate, and I was invited to a show at my local comic book store and kind of do store signing and everything along with some other cool artists. So I had an awesome time, and I wanted to share with you guys kind of what went down and everything. And also I want to talk about some of the free comic books that I got. I didn't get all of them because I was kind of sitting and signing things, so some of them were like gone and sold out by the time I got a chance to pick out some that I like. But I got some cool stuff that I just want to show you real quick what they are. I don't know, I'm curious what you guys got, because like I said, there's some I missed out on. So if there's something I didn't get that looks really cool, let me know so I know what I missed out on. But the other thing I wanted to mention is that I've been talking about, and maybe you've heard me talk about this, I was planning on, today was going to be the day that I released my studio tour, my tour of the underground lair, which is, I'm going to show you stuff you haven't seen of the underground lair. I kind of switched things around because I didn't want to wait too long to put up the Free Comic Book Day, Star Wars Day thing, since it just happened. So I thought I'd put this one out first, but the next video I put out will be the tour of the underground lair. So I know some of you guys have been waiting for that, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. So that'll be probably in a couple more days. I'll release that, and yeah, that should be a pretty cool one. I've been waiting to do that for a long time, and I finally got it all put together and everything. So that will be the next video. But before we get into kind of showing you some of the stuff that went down at my local comic book store, Surprise Comics, I'll show you some of the books that I got. So first up, I've got this one, The Dark Age. It's by a company called Red 5 Comics. I don't know if that's in reference to Star Wars, but I'm just going to say it is, since it was Star Wars Day. But yeah, I mean, there's some awesome artwork on there. I'm digging. I flipped through all of them, and man, there's some really good artwork. I guess if you're going to give away a comic book for free on Free Comic Book Day, you want to put your best foot forward. So this is another one I got, Grumble versus the Goon. I'm familiar with the Goon, but I'm not familiar with Grumble, which I guess I'm not sure if it's one of these two characters, but it looks really cool. The Goon is an awesome character. So yeah, again, awesome artwork. I think all the artwork is pretty awesome. This one piqued my interest because it's got a kind of a Stranger Things vibe to it. Midnight Sky. I guess it's got three different stories in it, and they all look pretty cool. This is by a company called Scout Comics, which I'm not familiar with, but man, there's a lot of really cool people putting out comic books. And speaking of Stranger Things, I'm a big Stranger Things fan, so you know I had to pick up this Stranger Things comic, and man, it looks cool as well. I'm gonna definitely check that out. This is another one. I'm not sure. This almost looks like a Travis Charest cover. I'm not sure if it is, but it's definitely kind of his style. Interior is a little different. It might be this. It might be the same artist on the front, I'm not sure, but it does have kind of a Travis Charest vibe, so I bought that because I dig his stuff. I picked up this one, Lumberjanes. I've got a couple of the collections of Lumberjanes. It's just a super fun, you know, comic story about some scouts that are, you know, these Girl Scouts, and they're not Girl Scouts technically, but they're kind of in that, sort of that vein. So it's a really cool, fun story. This one looked really interesting. Let's see, Lady Mechanica, I don't know, right? Something like that. But it's definitely got a steampunk vibe. The artwork inside looks great. It looks like, I'm not familiar with it, but it looks like there's a bunch of issues out here. And yeah, that one really looks cool. This one may be, I think this might have been from a previous Free Comic Book Day or whatever, or maybe it's something else. It says, maybe this is like a Halloween thing, but I picked this one up anyway just because it's got zombies, I think, and I think it's zombies. It's Afterlife with Archie, so. Now this is the one I'm super excited about. When I saw this, I watched a video showing some of the comic books that are coming out, and I had to get this one, and I was worried that they maybe not order this or not, but they did. This one is called Wolfie Monster and the Big Bad Pizza Battle. Now, if you're not familiar with this, Joey Ellis is an artist that I follow. You know, I've probably mentioned this before, but I am a big fan of Jim Henson. That's one of my biggest inspirations, and I think Joey, who created this, also is. But he put together like this. It's almost like I think he described it as it's kind of like Sesame Street, but it's the people that couldn't afford to live on Sesame Street. But it is hilarious. I'm gonna leave a link to a video that kind of shows sort of the production of the pilot that he shot for this. And I don't know if the video, if they actually ever got picked up. I don't think they did. But I was super excited when I saw that he's got a comic book coming out, and it looks like it's graphics, which is an imprint of Scholastic. So super cool that he got picked out for them. I was hoping to kind of meet this guy because I think at the previous Creative South, that show that I went to, I think he was there speaking on the previous year. I don't think he was there this year. If he was, I didn't run into him, but I really dig his stuff. So hopefully at some point I'll get a chance to talk to him because man, I dig what he's doing, and I'm a big fan of this. So I'm going to leave a couple links to stuff that he's doing, because if you like Jim Henson, it's like that. It's just kind of irreverent, it's kid humor, but it's stuff adults will get and love too, just kind of like Jim Henson. But man, his stuff is so great, and the pilot they just shot is really amazing. So I'm going to leave a link to that, but I can't wait to read this book because he's an awesome illustrator, and and with the puppets and everything. And there's a couple other illustrators that I follow that are involved in this project too. So I was super excited to see that. I know I'm spending a lot of time on this, but this is probably the one I'm most excited about because I love this kind of stuff. And in the same vein, it's kind of stuff that's sort of for kids, but I love the art style on this one. It's called Dear Justice League, and I think it's just like, I don't know if it's like fan letters that people write to like Superman or questions kids have for Superman, but it's another fun thing. I just love seeing, the heroes that and everything, but sort of in a different style. So those are some of the books that I picked up. And while I was at my local comic book store doing signings and stuff, I figured since it was Star Wars Day, I brought a lot of my Star Wars sketches. I've got, here's Bosk. I've got tons of them. So I brought a bunch of those, and I was doing some commissions, which I don't do a lot of, but it's fun to kind of sit there and do commissions. And yeah, I had an awesome time. Rather than talk about all that, let's show you. Let's go up to the paralleloscope, which I think is out of screen, but it's right up here. We're gonna go to the paralleloscope and kind of see what was going on Free Comic Book Day 2019. All right, Free Comic Book Day, Star Wars Day 2019. We're here at Surprise Comics, my local comic book store, and I just wanted to show you the artwork on the front here. This is done by Eric Hinson, who is the artist and illustrator and writer of Eden from Alterna Comics. He was supposed to be there with us signing and drawing, and unfortunately he got sick, so he couldn't show up. But we pushed on. We had some other great artists there, yeah. So this is the inside of the store, and it was pretty busy like this throughout. I talked to the owners, Matt and Melissa, and they said that this was their best day ever in the history of them being in business at Surprise Comics, which is awesome. This is a deceased kind of collab thing that we all did together. So it was because of the theme, deceased, with the DC and every characters, I decided to go with like a zombie Flash. One of the other artists, Jesse there, he did zombie Batman, and Vincent, who is one of the artists on SpongeBob comic books, he did, of course, SpongeBob. So it was kind of fun to get to do sort of a jam piece like this. I don't think I've ever, I'm not sure if I've ever done anything like this. So it was kind of cool to work with other artists and everything. It's kind of a bummer that Eric wasn't there because there was like a little more space for like one more character, and he's an awesome artist, as you saw from the front of the storefront. It would have been nice to have his on there as well. But anyway, so this was given away. It was kind of like a raffled off to one lucky winner who got to take that home. This is just the inside of the store, and yeah, it was just cool. A lot of people came by. Like I said, their best day. So I mean, it's really cool. They've got a lot of cool stuff there. They've got comics, of course, and then just all kinds of other stuff that go along with comics. Now, this was kind of one of my highlights of the day. So this is a commission I did for a kid who stopped by, dressed in costume as his own creator-owned hero that he developed called Antimatter, and I'm going to let him talk about it later on and kind of introduce and tell you what his character's all about. But it was really cool to have somebody come by dressed up and want a commission based on their character.
Can I ask who you are and what's your superhero name?
My name is Antimatter, and my ability is to change anything I want. I can change my Lego structure of the object.
That's awesome. I love the costume. I think it's really cool that you came here dressed as a costume and then you got a sketch.
Here's Vincent working on a Hellboy sketch, and it was pretty cool because both Vincent and myself were pretty busy doing commissions like one after another, and I don't do commissions that often, so it's nice to have an opportunity to do that kind of thing. And I mean, I brought some work that I was going to work on, like the cover to the 100s anthology, but I thought I would have some downtime, but no, people came up to me and kept wanting me to do commissions, so that's cool. This is a commission I did, Darth Maul, and like I said, I kind of came with a lot of Star Wars sketches, and I was doing a lot of Star Wars commissions as well, and I made these little Serkworks sketch cards and everything, so it was really fun, because I don't do a whole lot of fan art, so now, anytime I get to do something like this, it's kind of fun to do something different for a change. So yeah, you can kind of see, and I brought some markers along, and because I love to do marker renderings and everything, but I'm not sure. I had to have drawn Darth Maul before, but it's been a while if I have, so it was really cool to get to draw Darth Maul, yeah, I wish I should have brought more colors, marker colors. I did have my color erase pen, so I was able to add a little bit of red to it and everything. But like the kid that came by that wanted the Antimatter, his symbol kind of had these different colors on it. And I wish I would have had some markers to kind of throw those in. But yeah, it was just a blast. I mean, just sitting there the whole day, doing commissions, hanging out with friends, and yeah, I just had a blast. And yeah, I mean, I'm only showing like a portion. I didn't get to film all the commissions I did. I did quite a bit more. So, but this one was kind of cool. I had fun doing that. These are some of the comics that were there on Free Comic Day. I don't know if these are the ones for this year. I did take. I'll show you some of those in a minute. But I think these are some other promotions that they had. Previous things like the Halloween promotions and all that stuff. And so they had free comics there from past. This is Jesse working on a sketchbook. Not sketchbook. What are they? A sketch cover. Yeah, and I did one of those. I'll show you that too. But those sketch covers are kind of cool to work on. So, but yeah, working on a Batman sketch cover, and yeah, it was a blast to get to hang out with Jesse as well. Although he was kind of on the other side drawing. And here's some of now these are some things that I didn't get to pick up. I showed you some of the ones. I'm not sure this Animosity, that looked cool. I didn't get a chance to get that one. Hope. There's some Riverdale stuff. I probably should have got that for my daughter, but it was gone. That My Hero Academia I actually did get, and I gave that to my son. Yeah, there was some other cool comics that I wish I would have got, but they were gone by the time I got around to picking out some of the comics. But some really and of course the Star Wars adventures, and there's some Sonic stuff. Here's Vincent and myself doing some sketches and everything, and you can see Vincent's working on a Wolverine commission. Yeah, got to do a lot of these sketch covers. Those are kind of cool to do. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it's kind of like a comic with a blank cover. And it's just a way, I guess it's a way for, and here's one that I'm working on, Chewbacca. It was a Chewbacca comic. They wanted Boba Fett, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to have him holding like Wookiee scalps or something to kind of tie it all in, like he's hunting for Wookiees or whatever. So, yeah, but the sketch covers are cool. They put out by Marvel or DC or whatever comic company, and it's a good way for them to make a profit of all the people making fan art. So I guess it's kind of like a goodwill toward thing, in my opinion, because so many people are doing fan art, and it's like, well, if they're going to do fan art of our characters, at least maybe it makes sense for us to get a little cut of it, and that's the way they do it, by doing these sketch covers. So even though they've never come out officially on a stance on fan art, this is sort of, like I said, sort of a goodwill thing where, people could do fan art, and in some ways it makes it a little more legit. So, but yeah, so this is the Boba Fett that I did, and yeah, one of my all-time favorite characters. As a kid, I was Boba Fett for Halloween. My parents made a Boba Fett costume. He was the first character that you knew about that was going to be in Empire Strikes Back, so obviously a pretty awesome character. Like I said, Vincent's always doing sketch or SpongeBob sketches commissioned. So that was one of SpongeBob as Two-Face. And here's another one I did. Now this one wasn't a commission. This one I just did this as a gift for Matt and Melissa, who own Surprise Comics, just for having me out. So I wanted something that kind of captured, Free Comic Book Day, Star Wars Day, and everything, and that I thought was kind of funny. So that's what I came up with.
The drawing this hour is for this jam piece done by our 3 special guests here.
Say Surprise Comics.
Surprise Comics, the best.
Yeah. Free Comic Book Day, and May the 4th be with you.
Okay, so there you have it. Free Comic Book Day 2019. It was a blast. I'm so glad I got a chance to meet everyone and got to do some awesome commissions and just hang out with some of my favorite artists. I sold a lot of sketches, I did a lot of commissions, and just had a blast. And I want to thank Matt and Melissa, the owners of Surprise Comics, for having me out. And it was just a great time. And I don't know if you saw or if I talked about it, but last year I did a Free Comic Book Day video where it was me, and maybe I'll put a link to that one because that was kind of fun too. But what I did was I went from I think I hit like 6 comic book stores in the span of that Free Comic Book Day and did a vlog about all of those. And the last step I made was at Surprise Comics. I knew that the store had just opened real close to my house. I just hadn't been in there yet. So that was kind of the first day last year that I ever went in there, and I'm so glad I did, which was probably inevitable because it's a comic store really close to my house. But it was kind of cool that I did that. So it's actually been like the 1-year anniversary of me kind of forming a relationship with Surprise Comics and meeting some other awesome artists that they have in there to do signings and stuff. So it's really cool to have a lot of those artists right here in not only the state that I live in, but the city that I live in, but just like right around the corner from where I live. It's so awesome to have such awesome creators that, assuming we can get our schedules together, we could actually meet up and like do a draw night or something like that. But it's really cool. But anyway, again, thanks to Matt and Melissa. And yeah, if you are in Arizona, in that area, definitely check out Surprise Comics and check out the one thing about Arizona, and hopefully you guys have, wherever you're from, it'd be really nice if you kind of had this situation, but I mean, all of the comic book stores around us, I mean, they're just all great and for all different reasons. And I kind of touched on that in the video from last year. So definitely, whatever your local comic book store is, definitely support them, get out there, because we want to keep this thing going. And it's really cool that, that Surprise Comics is a newer comic book store, because unfortunately, a lot of comic book stores are closing. So anytime a new one opens up, that is definitely a plus for comics. And we gotta get people in. The whole idea around Free Comic Book Day is to bring new customers in, and unfortunately, and I can't go off on this too much because we're gonna go too far in, but I think we're focusing on how to get more money out of our existing customers when we really need to be worried about bringing in new customers. So that's what kind of Free Comic Book Day is for, and a lot of young kids were there, and that's the best thing to see. And you saw some of that in the video, and kids who love comics. And I just wish Marvel and DC would not, with all the stuff they're doing, as big as the movies are getting and everything, if they could just put just something at the beginning of a movie saying, hey, if you love these movies, follow the further adventures and other adventures of your favorite characters at your local comic book store. I mean, because that's only going to help that along. The more people you get into comics and get familiar with these stories, the more, it's just gonna just help the whole system out. So so hopefully that'll happen. But yeah, get out to your local comic book store and support Free Comic Book Day. Support every day should be like Comic Book Day. So get out there, not only on Free Comic Book Day, New Comic Book Day, which is usually every Wednesday when the new comics come in. Get out to your local store, and yeah, a little late, but May the 4th be with you. I'll see you guys later. That is all.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Also, you can follow me at Serkworks on social media. Do you like making comics? Then go to Serkworks.com and pick up the Comic Maker Starter Kit. It's packed full of fonts, brushes, templates, and more. And best of all, it's totally free.